Grand Prix, first one of the year. Wow. What a cracker. Piastri going out straight away before he even gets on. That must have been so gutting. Absolutely devastated for him. I mean, that on your home Grand Prix and after last year, wanting to really give the fans something to shout about, and then goes and throws that into the wall. Technically, yeah, it's his fault. It's a mistake, but this is the thing with the new cars, and the 50% electric power. Yeah, you can see how challenging it is. And suddenly have 100 kilowatts of power there without expecting it and throwing him into the wall. Still driver error. Everyone's got the same cars, the same situations, the same problems. So, gutted for him though. Mercedes dominating as expected, really, by far the best engine. I don't think we even saw 80% of it either. Ferrari said, I think we're close on the pace, in race pace compared to the qualifying, which is good, and this and that. I don't think they are. George Russell, he was trying to get his tyres to the end. He was on tick over, really. I'd have loved to see him pushed a bit to see if he could really go for it and, see what pace is in that Mercedes. But I think they've got bags for. I don't think they've even shown it yet. George Russell, I mean, great driver. I think he's done well these last few years under an enormous amount of pressure. Last year, was it, when they were questioning his contract and not giving him a renewal, proved his point, kept his mouth shut, got on with it, and, he potentially, he's got to be odds-on favourite for World Championship this year. But I've got to say, one thing's got to stop, the whinging. Stop it. It's racing. I didn't see anything dangerous there. Leclerc overtook him, and he overtook him back, and then Leclerc got him back again. Is he saying, you can't overtake me because that's dangerous? Is he on about the move where Leclerc moved across and made it a little bit difficult for him? Didn't put him on the grass. There's plenty easier cars width. That's normal. That's been happening for decades. It didn't move over in the braking zone. I'm struggling to see what Josh is complaining about. It's to win the Grand Prix and the first one of the year, and the first thing you're doing is going over to Leclerc to have a go about his driving, and then in the interviews, the first thing you're saying is about the driving 4 or 5 times. He's mentioned it in interviews. That was really disappointing, I've got to say. Just get on with it. Drive the car, man. Well-deserved win, though. We'll give him that for definite. Just hope that doesn't continue. So, yeah, good to see Lewis. I was going to say back to his best. He's not, of course. I don't think he'll ever be back to his best, but back to certainly a level that that we all know he can drive. I'm not a Lewis fan. I've not been a massive Lewis fan throughout his career, but I think the last couple of years has really shown what an absolute professional he is, and I've got to hand it to that. So as much as I'm not a fan of his, I've got to give him credit where credit's due. Leclerc, really feel sorry for him. He's probably going to be the best driver that ever that doesn't win a world championship. He's a quality driver, and I just don't see it ever happening for him. Not while Ferrari can't make a decision. I mean, how have they not dealt with it in the off season? How did they not look last year and go, look, X amount of times we got our strategy completely wrong. There's an issue here, so we need to change it. I mean, it's just basics, really. They've not changed anything. They've come out this year and done exactly the same thing and completely messed up the strategy. Yes, they could have brought one in. Did it lose in the race? No, but that's not the point, is it? Mercedes would have still won. But that's not quite the point. The point is they're still making the same glaring mistakes when it comes to strategy calls and stuff like that. So, I don't know. Grand Prix as a whole, though, I think for me, I've got to. I'm hesitant. I don't know. Yes, we started and it was overtake, back again. Oh, it's fantastic. This battery power and this, sort of Xbox style racing, if you like, hit a button and you buy, it's going to create all this great racing. I'm not sure it is. I just think that's the first time that drivers they've obviously been in the car. They've obviously know where to deploy, where to shut off, where to recharge when they're trying to pull a fast lap out. What they don't know until literally they set off on that grid is how they deploy the system and recharge the system when they're trying to overtake someone. And that was very clear in the first sort of lap or two of the Grand Prix. Hence, there were so many overtaking manoeuvres. It only took them half a Grand Prix to work it out. Because as we saw towards the end of the race with Max Verstappen and Norris, he couldn't get anywhere. He couldn't get close to overtaking him. And that's because they both had worked out how to deploy the system to both defend and he just nullified the attack. So what's that mean moving forward? Yeah, the initial impact is this is going to create a lot of overtaking. My gut's telling me it's not. You know, we've got rid of the aerodynamics realistically going down the straights. Everyone's flat out. There's less wind disturbance, so therefore there's going to be less there's less drag on the cars. So therefore, there's less effect when it comes to getting into someone's slipstream. So that's been taken away now. That benefit that we've always had before any gadgets came. So it purely comes down to having the correct amount of electric to hit that button for the overtake. That's it. That's the only way that overtaking is going to get done. And I just think the drivers are clever enough to work that out from a defensive point of view to nullify that overtake button on the attacker's car. So could this all end up being a bit of a disaster, regs with these cars? I don't know. I'm not 100%. It's just what my gut's telling me. I might change my mind on that once I've seen 2 or 3 Grand Prix. But we'll just have to see how it goes. All in all, it was an okay Grand Prix. Certainly not a typical Spa, but, you know, Spa's Spa throws up, I think, the best races year in, year out, bar a couple. So let's see how the drivers get on in China next week. And, yeah, looking forward to it. It's back.